Hello, this is the Red Riot Robot coming to you with the final logging of this year. I know that I said that for the previous one, but I figured I'd put this one out early so that the first video of 2026 would be something a bit more special. This will be probably coming out around Christmas. December was mostly me catching up and finishing the last couple of major games that I wanted to, along with two other games where one is something that I have a lot of nostalgia for, and the other was a game that I haven't played ever, but I was always curious about. So let's get right into it. First game that I played was Ball Pit, or Ball Cross Pit, or Ball X Pit. I'm not sure here. This is what I would call the winner of the Keeping You Busy Award video games this year. I actually like it a lot. It's a great roguelike in that every run is about 15 to 20 minutes, so you can usually launch it, do a run, and then be done with it for a bit. And it's a scrolling shooter with different mechanics depending on the characters you use. And this game does a fantastic job in creating variety in the limits of itself. I don't know if this will be at the top of my list, but it's something that I definitely played a lot of this year. The other aspect is the village building, though I would say that's very minuscule compared to everything else in the game. At some point, it just turns into, here's the resource farm, go crazy. So for a game that it's just a scrolling shooter mixed with Pong, they did a great job. Second game I finished. This was the game that I had nostalgia for. It is Lost Planet Extreme Condition. This is probably the oldest game I played this year. It came out in 2007. I decided to get it at a Steam sale, and I played through it. And you know what? This game still kind of holds up in a lot of ways. It definitely suffers from what I'll call 6th-gen third-person shooting, because it's at that, point where they were still figuring out how to make third-person shooters. And so it's not a, cover shooter. And instead of cover, it's mostly focused on, movement and also the mechs. In a weird way, Lost Planet is like a proto Titanfall, which is kind of cool. I'm gonna be honest, this game's story still is something that I always thought was kind of half-baked, and yeah, it still is. The game that I never played, but I was curious about, was Lost Planet 3. I never played 2, because that was a multiplayer-only game, and I had seen 3, and I had a buddy who owned 3, and he used to love it. And I'm going to be honest, and I don't know why he loved that game. Lost Planet 3 is a bad version of Dead Space 3 and Gears of War. And I don't know why this game was made. I want to kind of know the history, because this game also is not attached to Lost Planet, the original one, at all, in any way, it seems, outside of the planet and the aliens and the corporation Nevik. In fact, I'm pretty sure this game happens before Lost Planet, and it doesn't have any of the characters from the original Lost Planet. It feels like a reboot, but it's just called 3. I don't know. It's really weird. Finally, I played one last game, and I'm actually going to save that for the big upcoming thing that I'm making. In fact, it's a game that you might think that I said that I finished, but I never did. The last time I had an update on it was something along the lines of I was getting close to the end, but I never quite finished talking about it. That's the final logging month. When this comes out, it'll be, I think, right before Christmas, so if that's the case, to everyone, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, have a Happy New Year, and stay safe. This is the Red Riot Robot signing out.